It is time to have a look at patch 1.52 Ark Ascended, and we got the Aberration map and the center, both very cool locations. My favorite is Extinction, but I want to just point out VSync now available, both adaptive, on or off as options. Pretty cool, only took them about 8 months. I am Couch Coop, by the way, and the console versions of this game were running into all kinds of problems. PCs had the sliders, it was locked for us, and it caused huge difficulties over on the split screen. So just want to highlight, we now have a VSync option on Ark Ascended, and a much needed VSync option. It was tearing left, right and center, both offline single player and with that split screen. And expect an offline single player review of this patch as well, because this VSync thing is pretty huge, and the center island is one of my top places to explore, so I want to push out some content around that. But let's get back to Aberration, and let's get back to split screen. Straight into the jaws of a basilisk. This is always the Ark way, but did you notice quite a lot of disruption on that other screen? We are not out of the woods with split screen performance in this video game, and I have said that countless times before, but I will say the Ark series has offered us local co-op gamers some of the broadest spectrum of adventuring, Jurassically, and open world coolness that it sort of gets a pass for being janky as hell. But have they really improved anything? And is this UI still an issue with sort of reading it and working out what the hell's going on with everything on your menus? And do they still disrupt the other player? It's kind of yes to all of that, but the screen tearing's reduced. Now here's the thing about those three options. Having it off is completely unworkable, and if you know this map, it's quite thirsty anyway, so even on the single player you have to have VSync on full on, not even adaptive, to get rid of every little bit of tearage. Now when you go over to the split screen, having it on VSync full on does something a bit weird to the frame rates and some of the detail within your window, but having it on adaptive, it sort of keeps it all together. It's such a busy location to start in with this map. You can choose different areas of difficulty, and the whole Aberration idea, it's in a cave, so there's problems with like light coming through anyway, and there's just stuff everywhere, plants, rocks, creatures, water, massive structures. I really am not too surprised that the game has trouble, but we settled into it. We were getting stuff done and been able to understand what was happening on screen, and I was playing with somebody, brackets Lewis, who isn't massively experienced with the series, and so I was testing to see if any of that intuition was being lifted from the UI tutorials, because they're tiny and you just can get around it by recognizing certain symbols and knowing where everything's sitting. It's just not a perfect situation. We also have it a lot with Borderlands 3. And yes, also as far as I can tell, still tethering, meaning you can't wander off too far from the other player. Their UI also appears to change colour the further away you are, which I don't know how that helps with things. Maybe it just gives you an indication that you need to hook back up. But that sphere is a lot larger than it was on its original game, Survival Evolved, and I think the PlayStation 5 increases the radius. Don't quote me on that. I do want to say, despite all the slating that the developers get and publishers from the gaming community about some of their choices, but with the last game and with this, these maps are totally free. Also have Scorched Earth, and the game did not retail at full cost. I remember it cost me about £30 brand new, and it's also on Game Pass, so there's not too much to complain about in that direction. You will get some disco at certain points within Aberration. This doesn't happen on the other maps. It's something to do with interiors and the light coming through minor areas and just not working. But it doesn't put you off too bad. What is a bit off-putting is struggling to find a decent bit of standing water at the starter area of this map, and you've also got quite a lot of quite difficult raptor basilisks. This is not the easiest of starter zones. We also thought to have a look at the third person mode, which is some people's favoured camera position for the single player, and I can completely understand that. It runs okay, but what we were like, whoa, we just got to just switch that back out. It's a nice thing to have. You might be able to handle it, and I imagine if you had a NASA style PC, all of this stuff would probably not have these sorts of problems. Bring on the PlayStation 5 Pro. Don't. Not for 700 quid. Talking about that adaptive thing, sometimes the game actually adapts and it looks absolutely amazing. It's the strangest thing. It's like you get a squirt of power and then it's back to 25 frames and a bit of tear here and there. And that's one of the messages for the video. It's not gone, but it's certainly getting worked on, and it is definitely 100% improved on that split screen mode. You might have a better time with that VSync on than I did. Adaptive was our chosen area. Check out Lewis getting attacked by a raptor coming out of nowhere. And I'd also love to hear from you if you're playing this game on local co-op over on the Xbox, the 9th gen side. I'm pretty sure this performance is everywhere. I even fired up Scorched Earth on my mid-level PC and it was not much better. We did actually manage to find some standing water in the end. Lewis does a fantastic leap of faith, and during the whole footage I'm spawning in and trying to see if there's any stutter on his screen during said leap. And there wasn't. This game doesn't always fail under the microscope, and it is one of the largest local co-op open world games available on the planet. I think the only thing that can feasibly compete with it is Outward, the definitive edition, that PlayStation 5 version, which is so needed on the channel. Immediately drags me into the water there because of the tethering. I think the best way to play this game is private server online with a group of people that you know, or if you want to go for that random PvP stuff, good luck with that. But I'll get that single player test video out because I've got loads of flyers over on the original island, and I'll have a damn good look at the center because there's some really cool creatures in that, and we've got that excellent new photo mode with this. I was of course Couch Coop. Please stay tuned because I am about to push out my top PlayStation 5 local co-op games full stop. I'm going to compile a list of my favourites. I think there's going to be about 10 on there. PlayStation 5 SSD local co-op games. Probably go up to 3 and 4 player also. I will see you down there. Richard here, Richard AOD. I often get comments saying I do sound a little bit like him. Indie game lover to indie game lover. Let's meet in the middle. That sounds weird. Ball bag battle up next, mate. It's not called that. You do that joke every time. Tell them the real name. Scrotum skirmish. Hello, Couch Coop Services. How can I help you? This is Marjorie speaking. Couch Coop must reign supreme. I've gone Yoda. How is my egg-like head ever going to pull in the numbers that a yoga woman does?